Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Marketing in the Madness. Now, I'm always really excited about our guests, but I'm especially excited today because not only is Marianne a very good friend of mine, she is also a bloody megastar on TikTok. She has 200,000 followers, known as your marketing mentor, and is the queen of creating viral content. She's recently deleted her LinkedIn account, re-uploaded a brand new account, and with very few followers, I think last week got to 3.7 million impressions on one post. So you've probably guessed it. The subject for today's podcast is going to be about how you can create those kind of short form videos, and Marianne has the secret for us on how to make them go viral. So that's going to be a huge part of the conversation. However, we're also going to talk about probably some other things because, I just love chatting to Marianne. And I want to start, as I do usually with most of my guests, a bit about your backstory. So for those people that don't know who you are, and guys, you really should, if you don't, go and follow her, please. Can you give us a bit of a story to how you started your business and what you do, and a bit more background on Marianne?
Yeah, definitely. So as with many marketers, I fell into it. I think that's the course for a lot of people, but I decided that when I was going to leave school, I didn't want to go to university and get a degree in the normal sense of the word, because it was going to be £9,000 a year and my parents couldn't afford to pay for that. And I was like, well, I'm not starting my career in life like that. So I decided to go and get a job and find someone that I could work with and then do a degree with the Open University. So that's what I started with. And I ended up meeting this guy called Jolyon Bennett, who had started his business selling mobile phone accessories. So he'd worked in telesales for years, came up with a really cool concept of a brand called Juice, and their mobile phone accessories would be in apple juice cartons, blackberry juice cartons, and he would call them apple juice and blackberry juice, and that was the kind of the brand. And so he had a dream to kind of build the biggest mobile phone accessories business in the UK. And I was employee number 3 for him, really. So fell into his business and was like, oh, I really like this. I really like learning. I'm absolutely obsessed with learning. So sitting opposite him for sort of every single day for 5 years just taught me so much, not only about brand and marketing, but how to speak on the phone, how to call someone, how to pitch a retailer, all of the kind of foundations of growing a business. And so over the course of those 5 years, we worked together to grow that business from 0 to 20 million turnover. We actually ended up selling more than Apple in the UK market for their plugs and cables category. And we were moving more units through the big retailers than any other brand. And that journey of kind of building that brand from nothing to where it is today, still, one of the highest, still the best mobile phone accessories brand in the UK, and they're just breaking out into the US, was a lot of lessons and a lot of rolling your sleeves up, getting stuck in. But fundamentally, it was brand. It was about brand, because we'd built something that we made a plug and a cable desirable. And I thought, when we'd been working together for those 5 years, there was an opportunity for me to stay with the business and continue growing it, or to start my own. And Joe kind of came up to me and said, do you want to, what are we doing here? Where are you going? And I said, well, I'd love to start my own business. And he was like, well, off you go then. So I thought, if I can do this with a plug and a cable, I can do this for anyone. So I kind of took my sales and marketing skills. At the time was getting really interested in Instagram and social media, and was doing a bit of stuff on the side. And I thought, I'm actually really good at this, so maybe I'll do a little bit of this. And that was it, really. Just kind of got started like that.
But now you have your own agency.
Yes.
Firebelly Media. And you have grown I know this isn't necessarily the full subject, but the importance of personal brand. For those of you listening and not watching, actually, Marianne's personal brand is showing up right now. She's got the matching jumper, the matching net. And I do think that's really important, how you show up in life is, whether it's on a video, you're eye-catching. You've got a fluorescent yellow jumper, fluorescent yellow nails. You're going to get noticed. Is that intentional?
Yeah, personal brand is beyond the website, is beyond the assets. I think it is your personality. And so I think I do try and channel that a little bit when especially when I'm at an event. Like, I want to make sure that I am being noticed, or there is something memorable, because there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, exactly. You do. I do the same. I mean, probably not today, fully in black. But on the whole, when I'm going to a pitch or meeting a client, or I always try and wear something bright or memorable or different, because I do think first impressions count when you're in the room, but also there's so many other things that kind of dial into people's perceptions of you, and also to make them remember you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going off slightly. Let's go back to Marianne. So you started Firebelly. What came first, your kind of social media following, or because you have you are one of the probably top people within the world of marketing, certainly on TikTok, which isn't the normal platform that I guess we think of when it comes to B2B and where you kind of pitch yourself. And I think that's interesting. Of course, Instagram, you're also huge on. What came first, or what was when you went to launch? Was it like, I need to nail that before I launch the business, or was it the business then that?
So interestingly, I started my life in like marketing really as I was going down the route of being a fashion influencer. And so I started my own channels on Instagram whilst I was still at Juice at the time, ended up securing a significant amount of followers and started working with fashion brands, etc. And I went to like 2 or 3 events and I was like, oh, this does not feel right to me. It felt icky. I didn't like it at all. And I felt like all of my years in business before that moment were not setting me up for this. I thought they were setting me up for something different, something where I could use the skills that I had, and it just didn't feel right. So I ended up closing that account and starting a new one that was predominantly around marketing. And to be honest, at the time, I had a lot of intrinsic knowledge about brand and marketing, but I hadn't done anything on paper. I hadn't really, I hadn't done a degree in marketing, and I hadn't done anything in that direction. But I'm such a sponge, and I only learn by being a practitioner. So over the first kind of couple of months of that business, I went out to the top 25 agencies in the UK. I used my partner's company to get pitches from them to build brand and marketing campaigns. And I just looked at everything, and I put all of the pricing into a spreadsheet, and I looked at all their presentations, and I looked at all their ways of working, and I joined meetings as the marketing manager of my partner's business to get insights, to understand how the market were really behaving and how they were really selling their product. And I probably spent 3 months in deep rabbit hole mode of like, how does the marketing industry work? What do people charge? What are the services? And then after that, I was like, I feel like I've got this. Let's go. So my first client actually came from one of my buyers at EE. Her best friend had was looking for a marketing agency to help support the growth of their business. So that was my first intro. My second intro was my partner's business. He was like, well, see what you can do with mine. And then from then on, all of our leads came through from social. This must have been 2019. And I was thinking, how am I going to get myself on the map? How are people going to know about us? So I was like, it's content. So I just decided to set myself a challenge. I was like, I'm going to post every day for 30 days on LinkedIn. And I'm going to post every day for 30 days on TikTok. And I'm going to then review what happens after those 30 days. After the first 30 days on LinkedIn, I had the CEO of WH Smith message me to say, great to connect. I knew him from my days of selling to WH Smith. Can you do something with our socials? Like, let's chat. And I was like, what the hell? Okay, this could work. And then I'd grown like 2,500 followers very quickly on there. And then on TikTok, after 30 days of content, I grew 10,000 followers. And I thought, oh my God, this is real. This is an actual thing. So that gave me all of the evidence I needed to keep the momentum going. And then it just becomes reps and skills. And I just kind of just kept going and kept producing content. But I find I get obsessive about things like that. Like once I've posted something, I'll give it some time, look at the data. I will look at everything because my brain, I'm just obsessed. I just want to know, well, why did that work? What was the beginning stage that got someone interested? My first piece of content that ever went viral was actually because I'd spelt the word peace wrong. And everyone in the comments was going at me. And I was like, oh, this is a good tactic. Like, you could use this for getting people in the comments. Because the thing is, when the comments section goes crazy, the reason that really helps is because the video is still playing in the background when you're reading the comments. So it increases watch time. And obviously, we know that watch time directly impacts the reach of a video. So that's a really good hack that can be used in the early days if you're trying to get something to go viral. It's the same as like using a polarizing topic or something that's going to get people fighting in the comments, not to go out there and deliberately push negative, content, but starting an argument could be a really good way of going viral too.
I love this.
Yeah.
So we're already getting into the virality side of things. What I just want to map back on is two things that I don't think people respect or do enough. Number one is your bravery in a few times just deleting your profile and starting again because the followers weren't right.
Yeah.
And I think
I will die on this hill.
Yeah.
I really will. Like, there is I've tested this countless times on every platform. There is a huge connection between the people that are following you and the content, like topics that you post. So if you have let's say you have a small social media account on Instagram that all your friends are following, your friends don't care about what you're doing in business, generally. They're not going to be your ICP. Your algorithm is defining who they push your content towards based on that small section of people that interact with your content. If that small section of people that interact with your content is your mum, the dentist, and I don't know, somebody else, that's not going to help you. You need to just kind of get past the point of having friends and people that are, might support you, but actually who don't match your ICP, and really just focus on building towards that main target consumer base.
And that's also why just creating viral content for the sake of creating viral content can actually do you more damage than good, because you then attract a whole load of followers who aren't interested in your normal content.
I will also die on this hill. My 200,000 followers on TikTok, I've never done a single trend, ever. And I've never used a trending audio.
Wow. And because you don't want to attract the wrong followers.
Yeah, the problem is if you jump on a trend, like obviously if there's a trend that has this great cross-section between you and your brand, use it. But don't just jump on a trend for the sake of it, like this is going viral, because what happens is that trend feed will circulate to people that are interested in that trend. And if it's totally different to what you're offering or what you're doing as a business, then it will really hurt you, because you may grow a massive amount of followers, but they will churn.
Yeah. And also then the algorithm's going to see you're not getting engagement from your followers. It's not going to prioritize your content as much. So actually you end up doing more damage than good. So a niche following is so much more valuable, especially in our world when, you and I are both doing this to, help grow our businesses, attract new clients.
Absolutely.
So it's even more important, I think, in the world of B2B. If I was a, fashion influencer, maybe I could be a little bit broader.
Yeah.
But even then, to a certain extent not, 'cause someone doesn't like my style, then it's not really gonna help me.
Yeah. It's really interesting as well, because I think a lot of people's perceptions of who is scrolling on platforms like TikTok are kind of warped. Definitely this is changing, but the beginning conversations were like, well, why would I want to be on a platform where it's just teenagers dancing? At the very beginning, I didn't see that. I was doing very, very detailed, educational, quite nerdy SEO content. And the first piece of real life evidence I got that that's not the case was the CEO of Federici Brands, Gail Federici, who's a former builder of John Frieda, sold that and then set up a business called Colour Wow. She reached out to me. She reached out to her team and said, hire that girl, through a TikTok video that came from the nerdiest series that I'd created around how to leverage Google Search Console for SEO. And she was like, this girl clearly knows what she's talking about and we don't know what we're doing here. So can we get her in and can we talk to her? So, and they've been one of our biggest and best clients that we're still working with. And it came from TikTok. And she's the CEO of a multi-million-pound business. And she's scrolling through these nerdy feeds on TikTok. Now, I don't know whether that's just her being amazing and just like completely getting in there with all the knowledge. But, you know, I've had that time and time again.
Yeah, you never know who's watching. And that is, you know, going back to the personal brand piece, that's why it's so important to show up and put your content out there. Because if you don't, no one's going to fucking find you. Like, you've got to be in the game to win it. Yeah. So if you're not showing up, you're not going to be capturing the attention of potential prospects. And there could be, the CEO of Colourwell watching and wanting to use you to run their marketing. Like that, it's a shame. So many people are scared or not showing up because they're worried about how they might be perceived or saying the wrong thing or, you know, just generally nervous or, you know, maybe not as, you know, out there as you and me. And it's such a shame because there's so much value to get. Like, I love scrolling on all the platforms, probably more of a LinkedIn girl. But, you know, I learn so much from you know, the amazing people that I follow. And I don't know, you know, and I've got a very short attention span. So this kind of shorter form content suits me down to the ground.
Yeah. What surprises me as well, and through years of creating content, I mean, I think last year alone we distributed 630 pieces of content, of short form video content, and that's from a team of 2 people.
Just for you?
For me, across my brands. Yeah, so I do a personal account, which is more like my lifestyle. And then I also do the marketing account, which is just educational content. But what surprises me is that actually it's the simple topics for you that go viral generally. So whenever I do a video that I think, oh, this is dull, everyone knows this. Nobody knows this. Like, nobody knows this. You have to keep, like, I find it really useful to get my community into Q&As because the questions they ask just fuel the content ideation for days. Because we get so lost in our area of expertise in understanding something really deep that often the surface level stuff that we think is boring, we don't create content on. But actually, that's the stuff that bangs.
Love that. Guys, hope you're listening in the background over there. So the other thing, so the 2 things that you said that I wanted to dial in before, and I kind of think we're already starting on talking about how to get your content to go viral. But the other thing that I think is really interesting and certainly something that in fact, we've been talking about it with clients today, is the absolute value of interrogating the data. And therefore, you've got to track things, right? So upfront, you need to know what you're tracking, why you're tracking it. And then you need to continually interrogate it because that's where you like, without those insights, without truly understanding why that content did better than that content and the different elements and the different things that you've tried, how are you ever going to get ahead?
Something really changed for us last year, actually, when we stopped just looking at metrics. And this is, I mean, if I had time, I would definitely build this tool because it's something that I would use day in, day out.
Can we make it?
Yeah. But
that is the future. That's where we're going to make our money.
But
babe.
I've got a list. Honestly, a list of like tools that we would smash.
Let's make it.
We should just build them.
Let's make it. Yeah. That's the future. Like we need to create that SaaS. That's where we'll all become millionaires.
But essentially, so we have obviously this mega spreadsheet which exports all the data around, you know, impressions. The things that I really focus on is shares and saves, because saves shows intent of I'm coming back to this. This was valuable. And then sends is obviously the biggest metric on TikTok for getting people back into the app and one of the major drivers of the algorithm. But we started to export all of the data, track all of those usual metrics. But what we weren't doing is we weren't looking at the frame by frame perspective of those videos. So we weren't looking at like, what's happening at second 0? What's the next frame? What do I do? Do I walk into the camera? Do I sit down? Am I holding something? What's the lighting like? What's the caption on screen? This first like 2-3 seconds of a video, you should spend 80% of your time planning and like thinking about the video for those 3 seconds. Because after that point, you've got them or you haven't. Like they're either staying for the whole hog or they're going to disappear. So I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of energy they need to put in those first 3 seconds. Like I think about the following things. I'll think about, how am I entering the shot? What else is in the shot that could divert some attention, that could get people thinking, what the hell is that? Is it related to the video? What is the caption hook on screen? why are they there? What is it that they're going to stay for? Because people can generally read something and comprehend it faster than they can hear you saying it. So having that on-screen text hook is really important. Then what am I saying? And how am I hooking them in? How am I getting them excited about what's coming in the video? And how am I piquing their curiosity? Like, the thing is, you need to give them a reason to want to watch the video that answers this burning desire in their mind when they watch that first 2 seconds. And that's like, your job is to create that burning desire. What is it that's unanswered? So a hook that's worked so well for me recently that we have literally done time and time again. Me and Steph are so bored of posting this hook, but it works, is like, you are doing X wrong and I'm going to show you how to do it right. People hate being told that they're doing something wrong, A. So you do get a lot of comments in the caption, comments in the kind of comment section of people going, don't tell me how that I'm doing things wrong. But then you can see people's responses and like, actually, that's a really good point and we should be doing it another way. So using some kind of polarizing hook like that can work really well. But I mean, over the course of, I've been posting short form videos for probably 5 years now. So I've got a library of like my best performing hooks that we can provide for show notes if people want that.
Yes, please. Yeah, we always want that. That would be really helpful because it's those, I think that sometimes, you see, look, I'm not advocating copying, Marianne, because, this is
also, I advocate copying.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that.
Yeah, you need to, but also it's got to be right. It's got to fit you.
Like, it's got to fit your brand.
Yeah, it's got to fit you, your brand. So it's right for some people, right, not right for other people. But, I'm going to copy you. So, what did they say? Copying is the best form of innovation, or there's something. If you Google innovation, it says something about copying. It's actually quite interesting. Anyway, so the data
still like an artist.
Yeah, still like an artist, and because it's inspiration, isn't it? We innovate. We're all going to do things slightly differently.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's the key. So you've started to talk about how you interrogate the data. You've actually gone a bit further than that, though, because you were just showing us outside.
I also did not tell you guys what I did with the data.
Go on.
So why I obviously went off track there.
Yeah, that's fine. It's probably my fault.
Yeah, no. So we had the Excel. We've got this Excel spreadsheet, but actually what we were doing then is we were screenshotting the first 3 seconds of the video and the first frame, and dropping all of those videos onto a Miro board and just looking at it. And we could see from looking at that the differences when I was holding something or when something else was in shot, or the colours that were in shot. Like, this is why I wear a lot of bright things and why I've got the nails, because that is something that people spot the nails now and they know it's me. And they spot the bright colour and they know it's me. So it really helps to stop them. But we noticed that through doing this visual analysis of the video content, which I think if there's a tool that literally would chop up all the seconds and give you a visual like pattern recognition of things that are happening, I think that would really help you, because we did that and it was crazy to see the differences.
Yeah, it's
which is why sometimes I'm like holding a banana in my shot, or I'm holding something weird. People are like, what the hell is that? I think one of my best performing SEO videos was a step-by-step guide for the basics of how to get your page on the first page of Google. And I was holding Marmite on toast and a cup of tea at the time. I genuinely was eating my toast and drinking my tea at the time. So I just picked them up. But in the comments section, people are trying to debate, am I ever going to eat the toast? Was it toast or was it a cookie? And so this is now so funny, because whenever I hold toast or a cookie, people come back and they're like, the cookie's back, or the toast is back.
But it makes it fun. I've literally had the best idea, by the way. I think we need to get some bananas in a minute. and
just hold the bananas.
Yeah, and just record our hooks with a random banana. Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's like, why is she holding a banana? Well, I'm about to eat it.
But it's so true. It's making it fun. Like, I'm thinking, when going back to lockdown, we hosted, I was talking to you about it this morning, like we host this really cool, I say really cool. Was it really cool? Really helpful. It was called The New World of New Business, because no one knew how they were going to attract clients in COVID. So we did this webinar that ended up getting thousands of people signed up every month. And we used to do like fun things. Like, I don't know, I have a picture of like at Christmas, because we on the chat, it used to get quite lively and we encouraged the audience to talk back to us. And I don't know why, I was sort of saying that I was, is it Paula Yates? Do you remember? Dom's in the background. It was Pulley Oats. So I was like saying, I'm going to have to go and sit on my bed in a minute to do the Zoom because there was a builder outside. And then we were like joking about me having Zig and Zag. And then we had pictures of Zig and Zag behind. Like, so it just made it fun. The community feel like it's about, yes, intrigue, but also things that are fun. Like the other thing, Mariana, I love him always talking to the guys in the background. Everyone knows the team. But Mariana was saying yesterday how there's this trend on TikTok of like someone playing with slime or...
So, yeah, because it's capturing people's attention.
Yeah, somewhere underneath. So it's like a split screen on TikTok, and underneath is like a interesting, I don't know, like kinesthetic, is that the right word? Something's happening, they're playing with slime or they're flicking something or whatever, and then up top is the educational content or the piece to camera piece. Like, it's clever, and it's kind of the same tactic.
Well, I think you can do that. It's funny you say that because we've started this new content format that is a split screen, because you've then got more interaction in that first second. So you've got the person talking on screen and then visuals on top, so, or the other way around. So the video that we published on LinkedIn last week was our new content format test for doing this sort of thing. So having a split screen and basically putting either over a green screen style. And if you don't know what green screen is, that's where you've got like a little talking head over a document or over a video in the background, or sharing some additional assets from whatever it is that you're talking about. So quite often, if we're doing a tutorial video or a step-by-step, we will do the step-by-step at the same time as me talking about the step-by-step. So you can see that in the second half of the frame. But it really works. And that, as I said, that video that we posted last week went to 4 million people on LinkedIn. And I've got 1,200 followers at the moment because I started my LinkedIn again. So it just shows you that you can get that level of distribution if the content is a banger. It will go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about... I think that's a really interesting trend for 2025 that I've heard a lot of social media influencers or people in the world of marketing saying is actually the follower count doesn't matter anymore as much as it used to. It's much more about your content. They're going to share your content across all the platforms pretty much. And I think with LinkedIn having this new video feed that's the same, your content will get surfaced to people that are interested in your content kind of regardless.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this actually, because I think we've gone from obviously the easiest way to explain this is it's like emails, so you grow an email list and then you distribute to your email list. Social media followed the same sort of thing. So you grow your followers and your content is distributed to those followers. Nowadays, that's not the case at all anymore. The content is distributed purely based on whether the creative is good enough. And so what I think happens now is that we transition from a world of it being data and maths and just like trying to get as many followers as possible, but a world where it's predicated on the actual creative, which I think is amazing for marketing. Because that's what marketing should be. It should be creative and it should be fun and entertaining and drive some sort of emotional reaction. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, but that does kind of go against what we said earlier about attracting the wrong followers, because maybe now in 2025, if you do attract the wrong followers, it's not going to matter as much because content is king.
But it does still have an impact on the algorithms first, because it goes to a pool of your followers first. And then it will send it beyond that point. But who knows? Like, these things are changing all the time. And I mean, that's one thing that also drives me incredibly in this industry is that I'm just obsessed with learning new things. And I mean, things change by the second.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting here right now and TikTok is fine in the US. It could be banned next week and then we'll all have to transition. But I think there's something to say in that as well, is that if, a lot of people have asked me, were you scared about this? Are you worried about the TikTok ban? I'm like, well, no, because over the course of 5 years, I've built skills that mean that I can create short form video that goes viral anywhere. So I will just take that wherever the audience attention goes. I'm not bothered about the fact that it's going to change because I've built the skill. So I think it's over time, by rolling your sleeves up and doing this for yourself through your personal brands, which we were talking about at the beginning, you learn how to do it and then you can do it anywhere.
I love that. Now, going back to building the skill, you've built your own skill in AI. I mean, also, you are the queen of AI. If you guys want to know about marketing and AI and the tools that you should be using, I mean, there's probably a whole separate episode we could record on that.
Yeah.
But you've actually now using an AI tool
Yeah.
You can tell me which one in a minute because I don't
Yeah.
want to get it wrong. You have built something that now reviews your content to help you write scripts to create viral content.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
There's a couple of like threads to this. So I started falling down the rabbit hole of AI automation, etc. Like I've always been an automation junkie from the beginning when I started my business, because I was a very small team. We were working with huge clients and I didn't have a massive budget for headcount. So we had to kind of figure out ways to automate things. So have been using Zapier for years. Was using Jasper AI before kind of the launch of ChatGPT. So these things weren't necessarily new concepts to me. But as soon as I discovered the world of custom GPTs or projects, if you use Claude or whatever these other LLMs offer, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So for those of you that don't know, a custom GPT is essentially almost like a ring-fenced version of ChatGPT that enables you to upload up to 10 documents in its knowledge base. And then as a starting place, the AI will read those documents and understand that information before it answers whatever it is that you've asked it to answer. And you can build this custom GPT to do one thing specifically really, really well. So I was like, okay, first of all, I know that I'm going viral consistently and I know what things matter, but I don't know fully what all of the elements are. Like, how would I explain going viral to someone else? How would I explain the fact that I think you can engineer virality? What is it that makes a difference? And so I exported the transcripts of my best performing videos over a year and I uploaded them into ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT to help me understand what were the common trends in these videos that went viral. What was I doing that I couldn't see, so that I could then create a formula to be able to do it consistently. So first of all, I took the information from the data that I had. Then I asked the AI to teach me why it was working, which was the ultimate like head fuck for me. I was like, oh my God, the AI is like, I'm doing this thing naturally. Then the AI is helping me understand what I'm doing so that I can help the AI do more of what we're doing together. It's like, what? I'm like, and then after that, after I had the transcripts, I then broke down these transcripts and like highlighted the different sections within them in terms of what I was doing in the videos to help the AI then understand how to do this more consistently. And then I created a short form script writer. So now what I do to create the video, like the Black Mirror AI influencers one, is I will validate the idea first, which is really important. Like, idea validation is a lot of the time the thing people don't do. They don't use other platforms. Like, a lot of my ideas are validated through Twitter. So if something's gone viral on Twitter, but no one's talking about it on LinkedIn or TikTok, then I will bring that to those channels. Likewise, if there's a news article that everybody's talking about or reading, that's validating human interest. So like the AI influencers one, I was like, this is going to go off because everybody's talking about it. It's also a very controversial topic. There's two very different sides. So I'll validate the idea. And then I took 2 news articles into my custom GPT that I'd built based on everything I've just spoken about. And I'll say, this is the article link. This is my idea around like what I'm thinking the hook could be. But the way that I've kind of created this is that GPT will throw back to me 3 hooks and give me the choice of one. And then it will throw back to me the script. And then I will look at it and I will review it. It gets it probably first or second time, second prompt. And all I'm doing at this point now is dropping in the article, giving it a steer in terms of my headspace, and then it's throwing me back the script. So all I'm doing then is filming the script to camera, and then Steph is editing everything together. So in terms of me creating that one piece of content that went to 4 million people, that if we'd have run that through paid media would have cost us 100 grand, has taken me less than 15 minutes to do. So I think you can kind of start to build a process and a structure that will enable you to do this stuff consistently. Because if I'm honest, I don't have time to be a content creator because I'm running my agency and I'm servicing my clients and I'm trying to figure out all the problems that we have over there. So I've had to optimize content so that we can produce it at speed because I don't have a choice. So then I have to use AI and I have to build these tools and frameworks. But I'm kind of a bit cracked like that.
I honestly love that I'm your friend because you're so clever. I'm just sat here just thinking how stupid I am. No. I mean, we do use ChatGPT specifically in a very similar way. We need to finalise getting our custom GPTs.
Well, I'll help you build one today.
Yeah, love that. Thanks, babe. Right, before I let you go and we film some really awesome hooks for this podcast, what else do the listeners need to know? Viral content.
Something else that came to mind just then as well. I think a lot of people are grappling with the use of AI right now, and there's a ton of AI tools. The market is flooded with them because what's happening is everybody is building wrappers on top of ChatGPT. And so these tools are like little mini versions of ChatGPT that do something really well. Well, the thing is, you don't need those wrappers. You can build them for yourself. That's what a custom GPT is. And the subscription for a premium membership to that is $20 a month. So you could get rid of all of those tools and start to create your own processes and things within ChatGPT. The limitations you have with a custom GPT are the documentation. So you're building a RAG when you're building these AI workflows. So it's retrieval of augmented documentation. So you're building kind of all of the data points that this AI will go and find. So if you're building something quite complex, you're going to run into issues. And that's where you'll have to do something a bit more outside of the platforms. But you can still utilize their APIs, which is what you can do if you're building a tool or something over the top. All of that's available to everybody. So it's not that there's just this restriction in terms of what you can build and it's only available to devs. No, it's definitely open playing field, which is why the market is flooded with 1,000,000,001 tools. But the other thing that I found from experience is that in order to build an AI workflow that actually works, you have to build in modules. You have to build it modularly because otherwise you can't get from A to Z. Because the task and the person you're asking that specific area to be is very different from the next stage of the process if you're running something from A to Z, which is why the viral script writer works so well time and time again, because that is now an expert person in my business that's an AI that does that thing incredibly well because they've been trained on all the data and it's refined. So I think part of creating these AI automations in your businesses is thinking first, what do we do that's consistent that we could get AI to do that's easily replaceable? And then stop trying to build like A to Z, build the modules, and then you will start to get some really, really good performance. Every single one of our clients have multiple custom GPTs for things that we do for them. And we just have built those through all of the documentation we have anyway as an agency. So I think if you imagine you were onboarding someone in your business to become the short form script writer, you wouldn't just be like, there you go, good luck. You would be like, this is who we are as a business. This is what we do. These are our best performing pieces of content. This is what makes us go viral. You would give them everything in order for them to be the best possible person at their job. It's the same with AI. You can't expect to just write a simple prompt and get something epic back, because you're also saying that your value is not important, like your actual IP or your processes should be overwritten because the AI can do it better. No, it can't, because you spent years honing that. So I think when you put those two things together, that's when you get magic with a custom GPT or something like that.
Yeah, you've got to treat ChatGPT or AI like a person. So before I let you go and we go off and have a nice sauna on the beach, I want to know from you, who would you recommend that I should interview on the show next?
Oh, great question. I'm very inspired by a guy called Kane Calloway. He is an incredible short form content creator, and his videos are outliers every time he posts, millions of views. So that is somebody that I would get on.
Right, I'm coming for him. We're going to send this video to him. Marianne, thank you so much for coming, and staying with me and coming on the podcast and living my life.
Katie Street's life.
Yeah, I'm dragging Marianne, guys, around everywhere this week. We've done Yoga Nidra.
That was lovely.
We've been to my PT. Tomorrow we're going to Blaze at David Lloyd. Like, literally, Marianne is living my life with me. But thank you so much. I could literally talk to you all day and ask you so many more things. So we're going to have to get you back. Before you go back to LA, I'm stealing you again.
I'll have to do it again.
So we've discussed a lot today. There are tons of links, and all the things that we've discussed, including all the AI platforms, will all be in the show notes, as well as there were a couple of bits that Marianne mentioned she'll give us that we can pop in the show notes for you. So if you like the episode, obviously please do go and give us a 5-star rating on podcast platforms such as Spotify and or Apple. But please do go and check out the links. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you'll come back to listen to us again soon.